Welcome back to SwissWatchExpo. Today I'm putting head-to-head two of the most iconic pieces in the Rolex and Omega line, so stay tuned. Welcome to SwissWatchExpo. So right now, if you are in the market for just a classic, dressy watch that you can wear pretty much with any situation, with t-shirt and jeans, or even with a nice suit on, today we're going head-to-head with the Datejust 41 versus the Aqua Terra in the 41 millimeter. So in my last video, we did the comparison between the Seamaster and the Submariner. And a lot of people had a lot of different preferences on those watches. So today I want to see what you guys had a preference on these two watches right here, which is very classic and iconic. And there's a lot of very similarities with these two watches here, and you'll be able to notice it right away. So we did pick out the blue dials, and of course with both of these models, they do come in all different colors, and you can get, especially the Datejust 41, in different bracelet style as well. So when we are looking at both of these two, you can see some of the similarities other than, of course, the blue color. But you do kind of have that kind of smooth dome bezel look, which I think is really great if you are looking for a watch that you can kind of have a little bit more of that sporty appearance, but can also be dressed up really nicely with a nice suit. Especially with the bracelet style on both of these, it does feature a high polished center link with the brush finish side links, which I think is a really great idea for both of these watches, for them to add a little bit more of that definition, does give it more of that character to the watch itself. Now, some of the key differences that you're going to notice is on the bracelet style itself. We'll take a look at the back. So with the Omega timepiece here, you don't have your micro adjustments on the clasp that you would normally have on the Rolex timepiece. So if that's something that is important to you, to be able to use a tool to kind of slightly adjust it in and out to your liking, you may want to consider the Datejust 41, because with the Omega Aqua Terra here, you don't have any sort of micro adjustments. You would have to remove some of those links on these watches here. Now there are little half links on here too, so you can make those slight adjustments, and you have some of those tools at home. You could easily do it there, or you can take it to your local jeweler and they can easily go ahead and adjust the bracelet for you. Now, one thing I do love about the Omega timepiece here is it does have just a little bit more of a playful look to it. If you take a look at the dial on the Aqua Terra, you do have that really nice horizontal teak design, which is supposed to kind of mimic the sailboat like floorboards, which I think is a really cool look. Something that if you are looking for something with a little bit more character, I think the Omega Aqua Terra is going to be a really nice option for you, because the way that the light kind of hits off of those lines, I think it looks really nice in certain lighting. So if you are out in the sun, hanging out on the beach, that dial is just really going to stand out really nicely. Now, if you're one of those people that does like a very clean, simple, elegant dial style, you really can't go wrong with the Rolex Datejust 41 here, because it is such a clean dial. And I think in the industry, I think Rolex does a really great job with their blue color tones on their dials, and it is one of their highly sought after colors. And I really love it because it does play off the light really well too. Even though there's no texture actually on the dial itself, it does kind of give you like the little ray of light. So if the light is hitting it at a certain angle, you can kind of get more of the darker blues or the lighter blues depending on how it's hitting. Now, of course, you do see the date wheel here at the 3 o'clock, and on the Aqua Terra, they did move it from the previous generation at 3 to the 6 o'clock. Now, what I do like about the Omega is it doesn't have that Cyclops wheel on top of the date wheel. I think it does kind of take away from the look, takes away from the symmetry of the dial itself. So I do love that's at the 6 o'clock and there's no magnification glass on the top. Now, of course, with Rolex, that's an iconic look that you get with their timepieces that do have a date wheel on it, unless you're looking at like a seed wheel or something like that. Now, it's something that you either love it or hate it. I know some people just cannot stand the Cyclops wheel, so I think something like this on the Omega is going to be a great option. But for some people, they love seeing that Cyclops magnification, because it does kind of indicate that iconic Rolex look. So when you do look at a watch and it has that Cyclops magnification, you can kind of tell that it's got that Rolex look to it. Now, one thing I love about the case back is on the Omega, you do have the sapphire crystal on the back, and you can actually see the movement with the exhibition case back. And of course, with every video that I talk about, that is one thing I am a sucker for. I love that there's the addition of the exhibition case back there. I wish Rolex would start doing that on some of their Datejust models. I haven't seen them do that yet, but I did I was excited last year when they started to introduce some models with that exhibition case spec. So I am hopeful that one day Rolex will add that to the Datejust line, which I think will just be absolutely fantastic. And then another key difference here is even though they all have the loomed hour markers on here and they glow really nicely, as long as you give it a nice charge, it's going to look really nice in the dark. But you can see with the Omega line that they do have like this almost like shark tooth design for the hour markers, whereas you have your classic stick design on the Rolex. So again, if you are looking for something a little bit more classy, a little bit more elegant, the Rolex Datejust is going to be a perfect option. Whereas if you're someone that likes something a little bit more playful, something that you want to wear that's going to kind of stand out a little bit more during the summertime, I think the Omega Aqua Terra is going to be a great option for you as well. Now, if you are on a budget, you really can't go wrong with the Omega Aqua Terra because the price point that they're at, it's the value that you're spending on an Omega timepiece like this is just phenomenal. But in my opinion, if budget is not an option for you, the Datejust 41 does win it for me just because of the classy look of it, the elegance, and just the way that Rolex put together this Datejust. It's been something that's been in their line for so long and such a popular model. And for me, if I had my choice and price wasn't an issue, I would definitely go with the Datejust 41 if it was up to me. But again, both of these are so well crafted, made in Switzerland, that you really can't go wrong with either one of these. So I'm curious, leave a comment down below. Which one would you choose from these two models here? For me, it's going to be the Datejust 41, something I've always had my eyes on, something that I'm willing to save up a little bit extra more for. But again, both are really fantastic. So stay tuned until next time.